Welcome back to Metal Ben's Chronicles, where metal lives. That's right. Okay, so I know this video is a little overdue. So the influence behind this video is Heavy Metal Urgy did a Megaforce stream a couple weeks ago. So it prompted me to want to do a top 10 favorite albums for me that came out on Megaforce Records. Now I threw an 11th album in here because I just couldn't keep it out. So if you want to call it 11 albums, you want to call it a tie, a truce, whatever the hell you want to call it. We're going to get right into it though. So, coming up first. And I know this seems like an odd one to pick probably for this band, but this is personally my favorite album of that era. I'm talking about Testament with Souls of Black. I think this album's criminally underrated. Yes, the production's not the greatest. It was rushed when they were making it so they could get back out on the road for Clash of the Titans. I think it only took them like 6 weeks to make this. All in all, man, I enjoy it. I think it has some of Alex Skolnick's best guitar solos in it. Okay, coming up next. And yes, this one did originally come out on Megaforce Records back in the day. Back in '83 to be exact. Yeah, the second album by Manowar. Cheese and all, man. Yeah, that cheesy album cover, you know. But yes, Into the Glory Ride. Probably my favorite Manowar album too. I like this one probably the most because it's got more of a doomy atmosphere to it, you know. And you get some like Sabbath style rips in this one, why I probably like it the most. You know, nothing against like Hell to England and albums that would come after that, which I do enjoy, you know. But yeah, this one, for some reason, there's something about this one, and I think it's the production on here too, because it's got that rawness to it that I enjoyed so much. Of course, mine's a Metal Blade reissue. So yeah, that did actually originally come out on Megaforce Records back in the day. Okay, another one. German power metal band, power metal legends. A band that's been around for a very long time. It's been very consistent, has over 20 albums out. I'm talking about Gravedigger with their second album, Witch Hunter. Yes, this was originally pressed on Megaforce Records in the States. Now, this is not a Megaforce pressing, obviously. This is a BMG Noise reissue. But man, yes, I love heavy metal breakdown, the debut too. Could have been in here too, but I think I like Witch Hunter slightly better, you know, slightly better, that is. Just a killer dose of German speed metal, power metal, you know. You know, Gravedigger before they would really get into like doing conceptual type of albums, you know what I'm saying? But man, Witch Hunter comes in at number, well, you know what, there's no numerical order here, so it doesn't really matter. And up next we got, well, this one's no surprise, one of the best thrash metal debuts, one of the most vicious thrash metal albums, Eternal Nightmare by Violence. How could you not have this in your list when it comes to Megaforce Records? Bodies on bodies, man. This thing's just fucking brutal, dude. So yeah, Violence with Eternal Nightmare. What a killer debut. This is a Megaforce reissue. You know, it's a double disc with a live disc in it. You know, just absolutely killer stuff. Because it's freaking Violence, man. I know some people don't like Sean Killian's voice. I've never had a problem with it. Okay, up next. Again, you know, you could go with any of the first five Overkill albums. I went with Taken Over. The second album, you know, yes, the debut's incredible. The debut, Fill the Fire, easily could have been in here, but I went with Taken Over. To me, it's a thrash classic, you know. Still sounds great all these years later, you know. Just definitely an excellent sophomore follow-up to the debut album, that is. Yeah, man. And it's Overkill, and Hey man, Overkill's still here all these years later, kicking our asses. And well, earlier in the year they put out Scorched, their 20th album. So that's Overkill. Okay, up next. Oh yeah, this one definitely has to be in here because highly influential, and yes, this did come out on Megaforce in the States back in 1983. Melissa by Merciful Fate. Oops. Trying to get that damn glare out of there. Anyways, if you're a freaking metalhead, you know this album anyways. Classic, you know. A big influence on black metal, thrash metal, just metal in general, man. I mean, what more could be said? It's Merciful Fate. The King, man. King Diamond. All the freaking way. Of course, you got Sherman and Denner, that guitar duo. Whew. Yeah, this one's still freaking awesome 40 years later, too, man. Okay, so this one's definitely a big part of my youth that I'm about to show here. I'm talking about an album that definitely would not be allowed to be released nowadays because people would lose their damn minds. SOD with Speak English or Die. Yes, this is a silver edition release that came out in 1999, reissued by Megaforce Records too. You know, I wish I had the original pressing of this. But yeah, this has a whole bunch of bonus stuff on it, live stuff, you know. What, excuse me, what more could be said? This one right here is basically the soundtrack to my teenage years because I was a pissed off teenager and I did not like grunge music. So when everybody else is out there listening to grunge, I'm still listening to thrash metal and death metal, you know, at the time. You know, well, with exceptions to Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, and you know, that's pretty much all I really listened to, and maybe White Zombie. You know, and maybe some Tool at the time, but anyways, I was listening to stuff like this. This is what I wanted to hear. This is what resonated with me and was speaking to me as a 14-year-old teenage kid. So, very important album in my life. Man, some of the all-time most iconic riffs are on this album. You know, yeah, Scott Ian definitely put down the fucking pedal to the metal when it comes to writing riffs on, you know, SOD, Speak English or Die. Even though it's just supposed to be a fun joke album, you know. Okay, moving on. Okay, so I believe this one is the second album. But anyways, I picked TT Quick's Medal of Honor. Excellent album, man. Just a great traditional heavy metal album, you know. I believe this one came out in '86. Yeah. A lot of good stuff on here, man. I mean, obviously this has, you know, Mark Tornillo, who would go on to join Accept, and is currently still in Accept, you know. So yeah, man, this right here is definitely an excellent traditional heavy metal album. I think it definitely needed to be mentioned. So yeah, really good stuff. Okay, up next. Oh man, this would be their second album that came out in 1984 on Megaforce Records. This is a reprint, obviously. But we got Violence Enforced by Exciter. Yes, the debuted Heavy Metal Maniac is absolutely incredible. But this one came out on Megaforce. I don't think Heavy Metal Maniac came out on Megaforce. No, it came out on Sharp Metal, but I don't know. Either or. I went with Violence Enforced because this album absolutely slays. You know, definitely a continuation of the first album, you know. Just fast, pummeling speed metal from Canada, man. Like a jacked up Motorhead, you know. Alright, so the next couple really need no introduction, you know, when it comes to, you know, what these albums are and what impact these albums have had. But obviously, Ride the Lightning by Metallica. I don't really go to speak in depth about this album because if you don't know this album, you're definitely living under a freaking rock, you know. My favorite Metallica album, it's been that way since I was a kid, pretty much. So yes, Ride the Lightning. And, you know, I had to throw this in here. I know other people would go with, you know, an album like Spreading the Disease or Among the Living, but for me, I absolutely adore the debut by Anthrax, Fistful of Metal. That's right. Killer album, you know. I mean, it's just amazing because, you know, it showcases a young band and what is to come, you know. And obviously this has Nick Turbin on vocals, you know. Just a killer debut, I think. I enjoy it. I actually listen to this Anthrax album more than any other Anthrax album, so I don't know. I enjoy it. I know some people don't care for it. They don't like Neil Turbin's vocals. Whatever. I'd say this is definitely more speed metal. You know, that's just what I think at least. It's definitely more speed metal as opposed to thrash metal. But it's such an excellent album, you know. Anyways, that's kind of number 11 there. Alright, so that's it for this video on my 10, 11 favorite albums from Megaforce Records. There's a bunch more, obviously. There's stuff I didn't mention. I didn't, you know, Megaforce has such a great back catalog. You know, you get bands like King's X on Megaforce, you know, MOD, you know, so there's definitely stuff I'm missing to mention here in this video or show. But hey, man, these are the ones I really like. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep it metal. We got more stuff coming. I know usually in the summertime it's a little slower around here, but hey, we're still hanging in there here on Metal Bench Chronicles. Alright, catch you guys later.